Righteous. It can be drunk as a tea or in the form many of us are more familiar with, brandy.
Buchu is one of South Africa's best-known medical plants. The leaves of this fragrant herb have been used for several centuries by indigenous people as an antiseptic and to cure digestive problems. Buchu Brandy is just one of many products stemming from this diverse famous plant. Why Buchu Brandy?
Well, I live and work on a wine farm, so first and foremost it was hangover control or bubble loss management. But really it was all about the health benefits that are associated with this plant. And I discovered its magic when I was working up in the Cederberg as an archaeologist. And its importance to the people of this country, not only the Khoisan but the early Cape settlers as well. And its uses are endless. Sportsmen are using this now for muscle relaxants, pain control. People use it for a number of different urinary tract infections, digestive problems. It's an amazing plant, and I really have enjoyed discovering a lot more about it.
Where do you get your buchu from?
A number of different sources. I enjoy exploring and walking in the mountains, so there's a number of local species that grow in the Franschhoek mountain range which I harvest, all in small volumes and quantities because you don't need much to make buchu brandy. This specific species is a crenulato, or the thick-leaf buchu, and this is the cultivated species that you most commonly find in the Western Cape. But I have a different selection of buchus ranging from Eastern Cape to the Franschhoek Mountains, and each one has a different flavor, which is what makes it quite unique. There's probably about 170 different species of buchu. They all relate back to the citrus or Rutaceae family, but in the Western Cape we've probably got about 5 or 6 commonly found species.
What is the process involved in making this buchu brandy?
The process is quite easy. It's as simple as falling off a horse, really. You just need 2 ingredients. One obviously is buchu and the other is brandy. And it's really fun experimenting with the different types. I've got some fresh buchu which was picked this morning, and if you're not in the Western Cape, you can use dried buchu which you can pick up from any pharmacist. It works the same either as dried or fresh buchu. All you need to do is put the buchu into a bottle and then top it up with some brandy. You can use expensive brandy, you can use cheap brandy, it doesn't really matter. Ultimately the buchu flavor is coming through, so I'm not saying use the cheapest stuff you can get your hands on, but conversely don't buy the most expensive brandy because you won't have any benefit from that. And then the longer you leave it, the better. I have some bottles which are 4 years old and they taste like syrup. Buchu is quite an antiseptic plant, so there's no chances of it developing any off flavors or bacteria problems. And then the brandy obviously will have its own antiseptic elements to it. My only advice would be to keep it out of direct sunlight because that will kind of ruin the alcohol. And just let it do its thing. Time takes care of everything, really. It's all about patience when you make your buchu brandy.
Is buchu brandy merely an aperitif, or does it have other benefits as well?
I think it all boils down to what it does for you internally, rather than how it tastes. It's a great help for people who tend to drink a lot, as I do, and it just helps keep your kidneys in check, keep the blood pressure down, and just keep the system moving nicely. And it's not a Western medicine, it's been around for thousands of years, so it must have worked along the line for someone. It's certainly working for me.
Is it possible for people to earn money making it, and what would be the requirements?
I think it's definitely something a person could make a lucrative business out of. Obviously you'd have to follow the correct procedures with regards to South African wine and spirits standards, and follow the SARS, the tax guidelines. Make sure you have the correct labeling on. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I personally love this stuff, but I've tried this on a few friends and they didn't like it. But I think it would be quite profitable business for someone to follow up.
Where do you sell your buchu brandy, and where is buchu brandy available?
Unfortunately, I don't sell my buchu brandy. This is all for personal consumption. I do know of a few places who do make buchu brandy for sale commercially.
And what would your advice be to someone who would like to make their own buchu brandy?
My advice would be to find a good supply of buchu, most importantly, and to try and use the fresh stuff where possible. The dried leaves work much the same, but you get better flavor out of your fresh leaves. And then experiment a lot with the different species of buchu. You can make some really nice concoctions from mixing and matching the different species.
Were the necessary Clearly anyone can make their own Buchu Brandy. It might be just what the doctor ordered.